Chapter 19, A New Dawn. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. After trusting Philip with Nate's care, you hurry back to your estate, getting in the morning light with the knowledge of his recovery. Through a stroke of good luck, you manage to slip in your bedroom unseen. Your excitement soon wears off as the past day's events wash over you. Seeing Nate sharpened one thing in my mind. I will be with him no matter what Lawrence may try to do to stop it. I refuse to let Lawrence dictate my life. Resolutely, you open your escritoire and searching for a fresh sheet of writing paper. There's only one person I trust to help us escape our situation. A day after sending your letter, Cecily arrives in response, worry written across her face. Sophie, I came as quickly as I could. I was surprised when you left London without notice. It was decided, not my choice. I should think not. Philip wrote to me about the duel and Nate's recovery and what's going on. I need your help. You're right about the duel and Nate's recovery, but what do I do now? I can't stay in a loveless marriage, not now that I know what I'll be losing. For a moment, she's silent, pondering your words, and then, at last, her eyes alight with an idea. I have one question for you. How much are you willing to risk for love? For myself, everything. But for my family, they depend on my marriage to the Duke. Not for long. I know Prince Maxwell is keen to set the wedding soon. I should be able to buy you enough time to escape with Nate. Perhaps this very night. After all, I doubt Lawrence will want to trumpet the fact that he couldn't hold on to his pretty wife for even a year. Thank you, Cecily. I knew I could count on you. You fling your arms around her, hugging her in excitement. When she pulls back, her expression is serious. We must make haste if my plan is to work. I recommend you say your goodbyes to your family now. For how long? I don't suppose I can make the wedding, but in truth, your life will completely change. You won't have luxury, you won't be nearby, and you won't be able to see your family, but you'll have Nate. You nod as you start to feel the full weight of your situation. She rubs your arm gently and begins to leave. I will make the arrangements post-haste, but you must be ready when I send word. Savor these last few hours as a Duchess. After she leaves, you wait with the Duke and his guest, the Baronet ready to receive the arrival of your mother in Louisa's carriage. Ah, Bedford, think we'll be able to return to business now that your wife finally learned her lesson? I would hope so. Are you going to behave as a wife, Sophie? Your hand balls into a fist at your side. You raise your head high, staring down the Duke. Lawrence, tell me, how is Mina? I don't know what you're insinuating. No. Do I need to spell it out for you? Hyprocr. Are you really going to let your wife talk to you this way, perhaps? But the Baron is interrupted by the arrival of your family's carriage. Louise bursts out and pulls you in a tight embrace, your mother a few steps behind her. It's good to see you, sister. I have fantastic news. The prince and I will be married just under a fortnight. That's wonderful news, Dove. We will take such good care of you and Mama. And I won't have to anymore. You do your best to smile. Your heart aches with love for Louise, and also with pain of knowing you're about to lose her. I won't be able to share the big day with my baby sister. Is everything all right, Sophie? You hesitate, torn between telling your family the truth about Cecily's plan and protecting Louise's feelings. This may be my only chance to wish them a true goodbye. Perhaps they might know how I could attend Louise's wedding in secret, too. Say goodbye to your family. Perhaps you could both join me for tea in the gardens, but something I'd like to discuss with you. After such a long ride, I can't think of anything I'd like more. A short time later, the servants put the final touches on the heavily laden table, then withdraw. Now, what did you want to speak with us about, dear? I assume since Nate is not present, the duel did not go as we wish? It's rather complicated. After taking a deep breath, you begin to speak, the whole story tumbling quickly from your lips, the duel, his fever, his miraculous recovery. I thought that I would faint when he woke in the morning. He's alive and going to recover. My goodness, why that's the most romantic thing I've ever heard. And I read all the romance novels aloud. You can't help laughing at her innocent enthusiasm, but your mother looks more insightful. I don't think the story ends there, does it, Sophie? A tear stings the corner of your eye. Your mother has always seen more than you've given her credit for. No, it doesn't. I have a difficult decision. He and I are in love, and after talking to Cecily, I've realized that I must follow my heart. But why do you sound so sad? That is wonderful news. Yes, but it means... As she stares at you with hopeful, innocent eyes, you find it difficult to get the words out. It means they must leave, Louise. You turn startled towards your mother. She offers you a sympathetic smile, looking both heartbroken and proud. Meanwhile, Louise's face falls in disappointment. No, you can't leave. Tell me it's not true. I'm sorry, Louise, but Mama is right. At some point soon, I will have to sneak away, and I may not have time to give you the goodbye you deserve. I know it's absurd to ask for your blessing, but I hope I shall at least still have your love. Sophie, you have my blessing and more. Once I'm married, I will see you and Nate are welcome in our house. I'll insist upon it. You are a better sister than I could have hoped for. Across the table, your mother has grown quiet. A pit of dread forms in her stomach. And you, Mama? I know you must be worried for me. You were the one who encouraged me to follow my heart. You gave up your chance at an advantageous marriage for Father. You chose love. Despite the fears you may have, you must see that this is the right choice for me. Although you're shaking on the inside, you lift your chin, bracing yourself for your mother's rebuke. But to your surprise, she gives you a tender look. Oh, darling, I have every confidence that you will thrive away from the Duke. You have my blessing, too. That was never in question. Both you and Louis stare at your mother in surprise. Your heart is beating so wildly you worry the servants can hear it. She does? I do? You have sacrificed so much for this family, Sophie. Now that Louis will soon be married, you need not bear that weight for us any longer. If this is what your heart desires, who am I to stand in your way? Nearly tipping over your chair, you rush around the table and embrace your mother. As her arms wrap around you, the familiar scent of your childhood washes over you and tears starting to spill down your cheeks. Oh, Mom, I'm going to miss you so much. And I as well, Sophie, but no matter where you go, I will always be with you. Pulling away at last, you and your mother return to your seats. Louise looks between the two of you, happiness warring with curiosity in her expression. Maybe now is a bad time to ask, but I can't help wondering, what did you and Nate do together that made you so enamored? You raised your eyebrows, giving your sister a knowing look. We discovered shared interests. That's all? You don't have to do anything to make a person enamored. If someone loves you, for who you are, sometimes it's enough to just be. So you didn't do anything? You hide a smile behind a sip of tea, feeling a rush of fondness for your innocent young sister. I wouldn't say that. Dreamily, you remember the feel of his lips against yours, basking in the memory. Sister, your tea! You guys can see your tea pour freely onto the table from your forgotten cup. Hastily set the cup down in its saucer. My apologies, Pat. I was just remembering a particular rousing croquet match. Right. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the things we discussed last time. Your mother clears her throat. When she speaks, her voice is firm. That's enough of that, Sophie. You hide your guilty smile behind the cup of tea, then look to your sister lovingly. I'm so happy for you, Louise. I only wish I could be there for your wedding. I know you will be there in spirit, and I'm so happy for you to finally have your own happy ending. Your mother smiles fondly at both of you, her eyes brimming with pride. My darling daughters, I wish only the best for both of you. Whatever may happen in the future, always remember that you are loved. A few days later, you're sitting quietly in a drawing room after dinner with a note that arrives for you from Cecily. Can it be? Is it time? Trying your best to keep your emotions steady, you unfold the letter. My dearest friend, tonight is the night. Everything is arranged, but you must follow my instructions carefully. At the stroke of midnight, open the terrace door to let in my footman. Take only what you need in a small bag. Pack a larger trunk for the future. My footman will carry the trunk to the carriage that will be waiting out of sight. I'll see it sent on when you're ready. Most of all, don't let anyone see you. May fortune shine on you tonight. Cecily. Midnight. That's not long at all. As you rise to slip upstairs, the Duke peers over his newspaper at you. And where could you possibly be going at this hour? To bed, dearest. I love you. I'll never have to see you ever again. Bye! I am surprised you even noticed. It's not like you to pay attention to what I do with my time. That's what got us into this mess in the first place. I have to keep an eye on you if you're going to save face with society. For the record, I'm headed to bed, or do you need to follow me there too? The Duke grumbles and returns to his newspaper as you gaze upon your boorish husband for what you hope is the final time. You rush upstairs to the bedroom. Campbell helps you frantically pack, filling your trunk with only the most prized possessions. I pray I did not forget anything. Do not fret, Your Grace. I'll pass anything you've missed to the Viscountess Cecily. She'll see it gets to you. You nervously watch the minutes slip by until at last the clock strikes midnight. You hug Campbell tightly, grateful for her help. Goodbye, Campbell, and thank you. You tiptoe down the terrace, the darkness casting long shadows over the silent house all around you. As promised, Cecily's footman is waiting for you. This way to the carriage, madame, quickly. Before long, the carriage arrives at an unfamiliar cottage. The footman hands you your traveling bag and then immediately drives away, leaving you alone on the doorstep. Slightly fearful of what you're about to find, you knock on the door of the cottage. It swings open to reveal... Oh, God, what? Oh, okay. It's like a nightmare. Mina, I am supposed to be meeting Cecily. Oh, don't be so dramatic. You are meeting Cecily. She steps aside, revealing your friend standing next to her. So glad you made it, Sophie. Mina is here to help. It was my pleasure. As far as I'm concerned, Lawrence deserves the scandal. But I thought we were trying to avoid a scandal. I won't be spreading any rumors yet. I know you and Nat need time to make a safe escape. Though Lawrence may soon be wishing to make one of his own. Whatever do you mean? I've received responses from the women we sent letters to. They've all decided to end their relations with Lawrence. From now on, he won't be getting any way with anything. In fact, he'll be lucky if he isn't run out of town. Come, let's go inside. There's a lot to discuss and not much time. You step into the warmth of the small, well-lit cottage, looking around for any sign of Nat. He isn't here, if you're wondering. The house belongs to my bachelor brother. We could be found at any time. I see. That is less than comforting. From here, you'll go to meet Mina's contact at Wilferton Stables. The man can be trusted. I use him to arrange my own secret liaisons. In that case, I am grateful for your help. Yes, well, it's the least I can do after you help me. Don't expect any more favors. Where is Nate? Philip is sneaking him to the stables. From there, you'll take the horses I paid for and make your way north. With any luck, you'll arrive at Harding Shore Inn before sunup. You'll be safe there until I make longer-term arrangements for you. There's just one problem, Your Grace. The people know you well in your own duchy. I suppose I am rather recognizable. Oh, don't worry. Diamond choice. Unfortunately, we've brought a disguise to help you hide in plain sight. She opens a trunk, producing a long velvet cloak and a simple but beautiful dress. You gasp at the ensemble. Duchess in disguise. You slip into the dress and cloak, admiring how it transforms your appearance so completely. Such a clever disguise is sure to come in handy. Why, I barely recognize you, Sophie. Lawrence should have taken better care of his wife. You smooth the well-cut dress over your hips, beaming in pleasure, when the weight of her words hits you. Wait, if I disappear with Nate, won't everyone know what I've done? They may suspect, but Mina and I plan to tell everyone about your terrible ill health, and how the doctor ordered you to the mountains to recuperate. Everyone will say being married to Lawrence was bound to take its toll on you eventually. It won't work forever, but it will buy you some time. I'll never be able to repay you for this, either of you. I know that already. Before long, Mina's contact brings you to the stables under the cover of darkness. Heart pounding, you're looking around every corner when you hear him. Sophie. You throw your arms around him as he presses his lips against yours, his familiar scent washing over you. His kiss feels different. Your first taste of him turned your world upside down, but this kiss sets everything in the world right. Oh, Nate. I've missed you more than words can express. Good gracious. Am I really so forgettable, Duchess? Happily, you step forward, hugging him more closely. Careful, Sophie. I'm still a bit tender. Oh, it's your shoulder, you big lug. Are you sure you're up for this? If I had a problem enduring pain to be with you, Sophie, I'd never have taken the job. I'd ride 1,000 miles for you. But you glean an ounce of fear under his brave face. Sweat gathers on his brow as the two of you mount your horses and head out. Only moments into the ride, you hear the unmistakable sound of a carriage coming from the opposite direction. Someone's coming, we cannot be found out. Could drive better than this coachman. Not just anyone, I recognize that voice anywhere. It's Sir Somerville. Nate, we must... Pretend nothing is amiss. As far as anyone else is concerned, we are merely two wary travelers on our way to the nearest inn. He nods in agreement, falling back a few steps, tucking his head low, pulling your hood more deeply around your face. You do the same. Thank heavens I decided to wear her disguise. I'd say hide behind the trees if you didn't get the disguise. The coachman merely nods in your direction as the carriage passes by. It's far past you when you hear the baronet's voice. Good God, is that Bedford's wife? You turn in shock to see Sir Somerville hanging out of the window of the carriage. Quick, man, unhitch a horse for me! Oh, for the love of Christ! That has to be an allusion to the choice, let me know in the comments. As the coachman scrambles to obey, you and Nate spur your horses forward, but the baronet swings into the saddle behind you and gives chase. He's a ways away, we can still outrun him. Does it matter? Seriously. His word versus yours and a bunch of other people. You and Nate tear off into the night, your horse's hooves thundering almost as loudly as your heart. Easy, girl, easy. With a loud whine, his horse rears on its hind legs, throwing him from the saddle. He lands heavily on the ground, yelping in pain. Pulling your horse up sharply, you turn back quickly, dismounting next to him. His own horse has already disappeared into the woods. Are you hurt? It seems gunshot wounds don't heal overnight. You help him into your saddle before confidently swinging up in front of him and riding off with the time to spare before the baronet gets near. I suppose it's a good thing Nate taught me to ride horseback. A rushing stream soon appears before you, the fast-moving water glinting wickedly in the moonlight. There's no way of telling how deep it is. This is what I get for thinking our escape would be simple. We should go through the stream. Hold on tight. Gathering both reins and your nerve, you lead the horse into the rushing stream. But at the last moment, your cloak catches on a nearby branch. As you pause to untangle it, the moon momentarily peeks out from out in the clouds. Sophie, look! He points towards the stream. In the sudden moonlight, you can see the water is much deeper than you first thought. Your cloak? The cloak aided your escape? What? Go around it is. How did the cloak help? It caught on a branch. Boldly you spur your horse onward. The trees grow closer and closer together, sharp brambles growing between them. I can't let the baronet catch us. I won't let lose Nate again. You spot a small clearing off to one side, partially hidden by some low-hanging branches. Do we really want to hide and wait? We're on a let's go time. Your horse gives a nervous whine as you press forward into the brambles. Luckily, your cloak is thick enough to block the worst of the thorns. Poor horse, though. I got you, Nate. You drape the cloak around him and your horse as best as you can through the patch of brambles. Before long, the woods open up again. Have I mentioned how much I love that cloak? You could stand to mention it more often. Soon, the trees begin to thin, the terrain sloping down towards the riverbank. You just make out a small ferry bobbing on the water ahead. It's about to leave the dock. Galloping recklessly down the bank, you pull your horse up sharply alongside the boat. You swing out of the saddle, helping Nate to dismount. Oh, where'd the two of you come from? Sir, you must help us. The most terrible scoundrels after us. We must get across the river. The ferryman looked you over, taking in your simple gown and traveling cloak. Always happy to help a fellow country lass out of a bind. Climb aboard and we'll be off. Stop the boat! Stop! Nah, piss off, boy. We are free! The baronet's horse is only just reaching the dock as your boat pulls away from across the water. Nate slumps against you in exhaustion. The ferryman lets out a hearty laugh as he glances back at the baronet who's struggling to dismount from his horse. These lords and ladies with their high-handed ways. I never trust a gentleman who can't handle his own horse, I'll always say. Yes, those darn nobles. You and Nate share a smile as his head nestles against the crook of your neck. Now we can add daring escapes to your many talents, Sophie. Shh, rest, my love. We're free. You wrap your arms around him protectively and hold him as he drifts to sleep to the sway of the water. Really beautiful sky. As the two of you arrive at the inn, as the sun begins to rise, he gives your name as the Pippins to the innkeeper, who shows you to the room. The Pippins? I've often mused about what I would do if you were my wife. Now we can carry out the affection more fully in our isolation. There's a note of fierce pride in his voice that makes your heart leap in your chest. It's far more than affection. I think I've been Sophie Pippin for longer than I've realized. Despite your traveling clothes, you feel naked under his gaze, what you wouldn't give to feel his hands against your bare skin, to feel his mouth pressed warm against you. I don't know how you feel, Miss Sophie Pippin, but I'd love nothing more than to consummate our new union right now. Pretty much we know where this leads, so for once I'm gonna go with no. Soon, but for now, the only thing I want to consummate is this bed. I have to admit, the thought might have crossed my mind as well. He collapses in the bed and pulls you next to him. You fall asleep in each other's arms, lulled into a dreamland by soft, steady beat of his heart. Several days later, after receiving a letter from Cecily, you and him pack your scant belongings and meet her at the Harding Shore Chapel. Cecily, your plan worked out perfectly, but why did you... You suddenly pause, your brow knit in confusion, as you notice the curate standing beside Cecily.
Ah, is this a couple who will be committing to each other this day?
Indeed, Father. Sophie, Nate, this is Reverend Lance. He's worked with my family since I was a child. I'm confused. A commitment ceremony? He turns to you with a twinkle in his eye. I know in your heart you already consider yourself Miss Pippins. However, before we left, I asked Cecily if there was a way to make it more official. This might not be a ceremony licensed under law, perhaps, but spiritually, you'll be wed. How can we ever repay you? By promising me you'll be blissfully happy together, and perhaps invite Philip and me to visit once in a while. I can only think of one final question. Will you marry me today, Duchess? This is the best gift I could ever receive. Yes. Your heart flutters as the curate stands before you, as Nate reaches for your hand with trembling fingers.
Sophie and Nate are gathered here today to bless your union in this sacred place. Do you, Nate, promise to love Sophie from this day forth, to cherish her always through sickness, health, no matter what the future may bring?
I never paid the future any mind until you, Sophie. You ensured I had a future when my life nearly ended. You're the very difference between sickness and health. He gazes lovingly in your eyes when he speaks. His voice is thick with emotion. I do. I will love you with every part of myself for eternity.
Sophie, do you promise to love him from this day forth, to cherish him always through sickness and health, no matter what the future may bring?
I do. Nate, you have my heart, and now you have my promise. I will love you from this day forward, forever and always. I also promise to always be... It's weird, but okay. Faithful, honest, forgiving. Do we really need to be forgiving? And say faithful. I promise to never be tempted by another. You are all I will ever need, and more importantly, all I will ever want. As you wipe away a tear of happiness, the curate steps forward with a smile.
I now pronounce you wedded in heart. You may seal your union with a kiss.
Time slows as he kisses you softly, with an innocence you've never felt from him before, and you know your heart is his. I love you, Duchess. Now and until the end of time, Miss Pippin. As you prepare to leave the chapel, Cecily pulls a heavy brass key from her reticle and drops it in your hand. Surely not another gift. Consider this a wedding gift. It's a key to my maiden aunt's cottage, country cottage. I've gotten it cleaned up for you. No one will think to find you there. She left it to me years ago. It's far away from prying eyes, so as long as you need it, it's yours. With fear, these words will begin to lose meaning. Thank you so much, Cecily. Well, I have one more gift, though this one is not from me. She had your folded letter addressed in your mother's hand. Because you forewarned your family of your impending disappearance, they ensured the wedding would take place not far from here. If you hurry, you'll get there before the ceremony is over. You mean I can see Louise married? We should go at once. You hug Cecily quickly, tightly, trying to convey your gratitude. Then you and Nate depart. A short ride later, you and Nate slip into the back of the much grander chapel, just as Louise and the prince exchange their own vows. Oh, Maxwell. Louise looks positively radiant. And in love. The prince gazes back at her in obvious adoration. When he speaks, his voice is thick with emotion. My sweet Louise, from the very first moment we met, I was captivated by your beauty, your brains, your being. But it was your heart that I truly fell in love with. I've never met someone who takes such joy in life, who spreads such joy merely by existing. I love you, Louise, and I promise to love and honor you for the rest of our lives. As you dash a furtive tear from your eye, Nate reaches over to take your hand.
How are you feeling?
Louise looks so happy. She's so beautiful. To see her like this on her wedding day, it's all I've ever wanted. He smiles, gently stroking your palm with his fingers. As he looks at you, his eyes shine brightly with pride.
Louise is truly lucky to have you as a sister.
At the front of the church, Louisa's voice trembles with emotion as she recites her vows. You have made me the happiest woman in the world. I promise to love you forever and ever and ever. Oh, Louise. I'm gonna miss you so much. Catching sight of you from the front of the chapel, Louise blows you a joyful kiss. Your mother turns, waving happily as well. I'm glad we got to see them one last time.
It's not forever, Sophie. We'll see them again, I promise. But for now, it's time for our happily ever after.
You and Nate slip out of the chapel, your heart bursting with pride and happiness. Before long, you and he arrive at your new home. Taking the key from his pocket, he ceremoniously unlocks the door. You laugh as he swings you off your feet and into his arms, carrying you across the threshold.
Welcome to our new life, Miss Pippin.
He bends his head low to kiss you. The feel of his lips against yours makes everything feel new again. You cling to him as you deepen the kiss. Your body swirls with emotion, happiness, love, excitement, and lust. A soft moan escapes your lips, and with a final dizzying kiss, he pulls away. He gives you a hungry look, his eyes already dark.
Perhaps we should go find our new bedroom, Miss Pippins?
I don't know that I can wait that long. With a mischievous smirk, you surge forward, lips crashing onto his before your bodies tangle together long into the night. At long last, everything is perfect. Thank you for playing the Duchess Affair from the entire team. We hope you enjoyed your lessons with Nate Pixelberry. And with that being said, hopefully you all did enjoy what I do. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Right now, a lot of you, over 85% of people that watch my content, are not subscribed. Yeah, I recently saw that and kind of, broke my heart. I'm going to be honest with you. So hopefully you can just do me the kind gesture of hitting that button. Please. But without further ado, let me say the following. Another book has come and gone on this channel. And I'm happy to have covered it with you guys. You are literally and figuratively the reason why I keep doing the content that I do. So please, support that. Support the work that I do. Because, long story short is, I'm not all that enthralled by books like this. I'll say the following. It's, don't get me wrong, I love a good love story, right? Where, you find that one true person, and hopefully they do ride off and happily ever after. We don't truly know. But we can only hope, right? Let's just put it this way. Think about this, if you will. Right now, Nate has nothing to his name, really. You have nothing to your name. Your friends and family have helped you basically relocate, and you're going to have to start anew. But in the midst of giving up everything, you're doing it for love, and you will enjoy the simple things, and the simple things will seem so grandiose with the right person. You don't need giant rings or necklaces or cars or houses to encourage your love to flow. Your love should make those things be bigger than anyone else's. The smallest little things will seem like the biggest. Just the simple words of I love you just make your heart aflutter. And tender moments of holding hands just are wonderful. I wish that for every single person to find true love. Really. Hopefully even myself. But I'm a hopeless romantic at heart. I'm a person who continues to seek out and want to enjoy however much time I may have left. It may be a day, maybe an hour, or maybe 50 years. Who knows? But you want to enjoy life while you have it, because you never know. Let's just put it this way: I've lost a lot of many friends, family, and the whole nine yards, and you really, truly don't know how fickle time can be. So enjoy it while it lasts. With that being said, thank you all for enjoying the content that I do, that continue to watch it, and without further ado, love your beautiful faces, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace out.